Hey everyone, Bill Parish here from GTT Audio, and welcome to the channel today. Today I've got a special guest coming in. For the last 5 years, every single end of January, I've gotten in my car and driven north up to Montreal to see our friend Louis Desjardins at Kronos. But this year with COVID restrictions and all that's going on, surrounding that and restaurant closures, etc., have just not been able to do it. So I thought I'd bring Louis to the channel. So here he is. And here he is, everyone. Louis Desjardins from Kronos Audio. Hey, Louis.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be here, Bill.
You know, I was just telling everyone, I think for the last 5 years, at the end of every January, I've made the trip up to Montreal. You know, I always come twice a year to see Louis and visit the Kronos factory. Always at the end of January and sometime in August. You know, it's really to just keep an eye on you.
Well, yeah, exactly. And eat a couple of steaks while you're at it.
Well, that's true. They do have one of the best steakhouses up there in Montreal. So a big shout out to Q de Cheval. And I know Joe Cabala's been with us, and Andy Miles, and yeah, a few people, and that's always a hot spot. So you know, I go up there, I can eat at the same place every night, as you know.
Absolutely.
You know, but really, it's to visit with you, get our game plan going, do a half year review, see what products you're working on, and you know, and then in August we're there getting ready for the selling season that usually starts in September. Um, you know, you and I never talked about doing a video like this, and this was certain the reason that in 2020 you weren't asked to be on the channel, even though I certainly touted Kronos several times, uh, quite a bit, is you know, it was always the intent to do this face to face. But now it looks like COVID is getting stronger. You guys have curfews and there's lockdowns. So I just figured it was time to get you on here.
Well, actually, Bill, now that you're bringing this up, I want to congratulate you on finding a way to keep in touch with all the Kronos fans that we have in the U.S. and around the world. I think this video series that you have is really fabulous. I think it's everybody's a little bit under strain right now. We don't have shows where we can meet people and give a face to the products, but you've done a really good job keeping in touch with people. So good for you, and I'm glad to be here today.
Well, I appreciate it. Yes, and welcome. You know, it's with COVID is you know, as much as it's hurt so much of the world, it has not slowed down high end audio at all. With you know, most of our clients and friends at home listening, and you know, we had a good year with Kronos. I think I said last episode, maybe it was 2 episodes ago. This was the very first year, I think, since Kronos' existence that you didn't release a new product.
Well,
But
that's true. I think last year. Well, we did have one was part of CPS. Was that the year before?
that was yeah, that was September 2019.
Okay, so we've basically haven't brought out anything in 2020 because we've been working on something really, really big.
Oh,
So
I know that.
it's really the biggest project that I've ever worked on. We're going to be introducing in 2021 a new high-end unit, a turntable that will supersede the Kronos Pro. We've run out. Basically, we're running out of the last few numbers of the production of Kronos Pro. It's been around. Basically, it was designed about 10 years ago. So this was time to come up with something completely new, completely rethought. And I don't want to give too much away here, but I just want to tell the people that are interested in Kronos that 2021 is going to be a very big year for Kronos owners.
Well, you know, I got up there a year ago, end of January 2020, and heard uh, what I consider 20% of the changes or of the implementation into the new table that you're building, and was totally blown away at that time. And then I've been privy to step by step photos and videos and even sound clips through the phone and the computer. And you know, there's some audio files and you know, watchers of like AV showrooms. I know they sometimes clients will say he can't tell anything through. You know, how can you tell anything through the computer? Well, I'm here to tell you some of the A/B comparisons that you showed me and sent me. You can tell. That last one, that last one was absolutely unbelievable. The three dimensionality, just, I mean, coming out of an iPhone, this analog sound that just bloomed. I was just totally blown away and super excited. I can't wait till this comes out.
Well, I'm also very excited. I'm very excited because I think with a little bit of luck, we're going to be able to release this, and I'm going to be able to start traveling again. I'm going to be able to come and visit you. We're going to be able to meet with reviewers. So I think we're going to come out of this period of isolation, somewhat isolation, really in a strong way, and I'm very very excited about it. I mean, I'm ready. I'm a little bit bored. I'm sure a lot of people are also a little bit bored out there, but and I know this is not going to be a boring moment when we come out of the gate.
No, that's for sure. 2021, when this product is dropped, it's going to be huge. And really, we haven't even talked about it. I haven't brought it up to a tenth of our analog clients, and we're sitting here in the U.S. with 8 pre-orders. You know,
Yeah.
and I know you were telling me over in what, the Philippines or Vietnam, there you got huge orders, and all over Asia. I know you do because you're very strong over there.
All in all, we've produced a few prototypes. I could work on a few different platforms at the same time to be able to compare changes. But our production, we're in production right now, and on the first 20 units, and they're pretty much sold out as we speak. So this is, I mean, before they're even really finalized, finished.
Sure.
Uh, we're looking at probably a date around a couple of months to have everything final built. We'll launch probably in April, May, but as it stands, we basically are sold out. As you know, I mean, things could change, but that's what it looks like.
You know, I'm just looking behind your head there. That's pretty amazing. If everyone would take a look at those flight cases behind Louis's head, that's the remaining pros. That's, you know, Pro was, and to clarify, you started working on it 10 years ago, but it wasn't released 10 years ago, maybe 6 or 4 or 5 years
Uh,
aupgraded.
yeah, no, I think about 8 years ago, the first.
Okay. But that's was a 250 run edition. You've always upgraded it along the way, upgraded and took care of all the clients right from the very first table that ever shipped. Any change that had ever been made, you allowed. You upgraded that, and then most of the time you did it for free. I mean, you're just. I think anyone that has a Kronos can speak for. There's never been better support than the way you have supported your clients, and what I know you view as your children there. You know, I mean, every table you make, I know you view as a child.
Yes, well, absolutely. And I've always said that for me, a Kronos customer is like part of our family. I
Yes.
mean, and I know you feel the same way about your customers, Bill, and that's really being I think the foundation of your success is that you've really taken care of your customers as they were families, and that's probably something that we share together as a value. Uh, that we understand each other, not on everything, but certainly on that our
Hmm.
customers are really special, and we have a hopefully a lifelong relationship with them. And so it stands to reason that whenever I fall into something, an improvement or a way of making something better, I want to share that with people. And sometimes it's been for free when the cost was not so high, and sometimes it required a bit of a additional investment. Uh, Touching on that, though, I have to say that this COVID time has been really fortuitous for us, in the sense that it really allowed me to spend a year deeply focusing on getting everything that I thought I could get out of the new platform before its release. So this is something that I have to say that but I miss a lot of people I haven't seen, but I've traveling perhaps a fourth of the year, a fourth of my of the time of the year, or when you think about the time coming back and getting used to being back again with jet lag and everything, maybe a third of my time was spent traveling. I've had basically 100 of my time to spend on this new project. So in terms of having something that was absolutely completed and perfected, I think that was in a way a luxury that I wouldn't have had otherwise had we had a different situation in terms of the world health situation.
Yeah, you've always told me that you look to push the boundaries and look for the products to evolve. But you've also said over the last year, but that by the time this launches, you're not going to know what could possibly be done with it. And when you say an extra third, I mean, you're a guy that works every day, every day of the year. So we're talking what 120 days or 115 days extra this year you had at pushing the envelope and really dialing down on your design here and seeing what could be done.
It's I've said a few times that I feel that I mean my job is trying to get the more gold out of the bottom of the groups, like a little bit like
Yes.
a protector. And I this is really what gives me the most pleasure out of my job, is to try to see if there's any more we can squeeze out in terms of musicality, emotions, resolution, et cetera, et cetera. And I have to say that people are going to be in for a treat uh, this year.
Well, I know I can't wait for it. I can't wait to do events, bring reviewers in, show it off, and really have a lot of fun and have you back on the channel and launch it here and really sing the praises of this. It's going to be so much fun, so exciting. So I really look forward to that. And I will absolutely be up there at the end of August because, by that time the world should have been vaccinated, and hopefully this is all behind us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Now, as
yeah.
far as Pro is concerned, we're still fulfilling orders. I mean, the new
Oh, yeah.
unit, I'm sure everybody can imagine, is going to be on a different price level. I don't want to get into the details of that, but Pro is still, I think, an unbelievable value. And for the people who are going to be smart enough to grab one of those things before we run out here, I think that would be a smart thing for them to do. Of course, I'm going to say that, but I still want to, make the point that Pro is still a very viable alternative at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, I agree with you. I mean, I feel that I'll put Pro against any table out there, and Pro is extremely inexpensive. I mean, half price, a third of the price, a quarter of the price of some of these other tables that we know what we've put against it and where it stands.
Well, I always said that I prefer the turntables to be in the hands of audiophiles or customers, but and not keep them. So some people price them so that they can keep them, and they just make a big statement about the price. But I prefer to make a statement about the sound and placing these things in the hands of people who can appreciate them.
Oh yes, and they do. They do. I think I don't think well, a lot of the products that we represent, we make sure people know what the heck they're buying. And there's a whole lot less of, let's just say, GTT audio represented products that are flipped as opposed to other brands. It's very, very, very rare to find an AudioNet or a Moa Moa or a Kronos piece pre-owned. Most people that buy these products know what they are, appreciate them, and they're, as we've always said with Kronos, they're destination products. These are destination products. This is the last product you buy. And what else what more could you want than what the Pro gives? Until
Well,
until they hear the discovery. Oh, there
and
I slipped with the name, but that is the name of the new product is going to be called the new table will be Discovery.
this is a very good point. This is something that I'm very proud of. Is that if I mean I don't have an exact number, but the way it stands, I think that 97% of the people who have bought a Kronos from the beginning of Kronos, not just the Pro, the Sparta also,
Yep.
still own a Kronos product today. So maybe they bought a Sparta and they upgraded to a Pro, or but 97% are still with us. And in the world of audio, where there's so many products that are fashionable this year and not 2 years later, and people change every 2 years, um, this I think this is an achievement. It shows that for people, if I think a lot of our customers, if they thought they could get something better somewhere else, they would go for it.
Well,
But they have the money to do it. They have the budget. But outside of that, why would they if they're not going to get more performance? And we're very happy that, yeah, as a matter of fact, we've probably kept about 97% of our owners with us.
well, and another thing is that which I'm quite proud of is that I mean, Kronos is also a reviewer's tool. And I'm not talking about one of these products where, it's always these long term loans out to reviewers. I think we have 5 or 6 reviewers in the U.S. alone that have purchased the table, and that this is in their reference system permanently as they coughed up their money to buy it, which says I think that says so much for a product as when a reviewer purchases it because that doesn't happen too often.
Well, reviewers and also manufacturers. So
That's right. Yeah, that you bring up a good point. There's a whole lot of manufacturers, other manufacturers, some B2B business that has gone on here.
that's
Yeah,
right. And for them, it's really about getting the best source available for them to develop their own products, or the best source for shows. If we think about von Schweikert speakers, for instance,
yep,
they've been approached by a lot of other turntable manufacturers to have that as a source when they present, but they will only want to do it with Kronos because that's when they know that they'll have the best chance of having their speakers heard properly.
that's right.
So So it's the case
Yeah,
for
and
Magical.
Magico as well. And Alana is known to be very
Oh, he knows what he likes. There's no
yes,
question.
yes. He ponied up for a Kronos. And then you got the Kabbalah Sosna team that didn't sell that you didn't they don't own one table, they own two.
Yeah,
Each one of the principals there had to have it in their main system.
Bala and the Sosna.
That's what I mean. Joe and Howard, both of them, and the list goes on. I think Shanyata owns one, and there's so many.
Yeah, Apsolare, so there's, Lawrence audio speakers from Taiwan. I mean, there's a lot of companies, and I love to do that because, I mean, it's difficult in the turntable market because it's a very niche market. It's difficult to come with big advertising budgets, to try to create an aura around the name. In what I thought was a much better idea was to work with companies and work them, help them get the best sound out of their products or in their R&D, to guide their R&D over. And I think this is that acceptance from the industry has been a really good thing, and I'm glad that we've partnered up with so many different people out there.
Yeah, well, you don't only make the best sounding source available, but a mesmerizing product to look at as well. I mean, you
Well,
can, so many people look at that Kronos with those counter rotating platters, and I mean, there's no better word than mesmerate. You just get entranced in looking at it.
Well, that's a bit of good luck on that because really the idea was to create the best sounding product. Particularly on the Pro, the design was not. I mean, the visual design of the piece was not the guiding factor in the product. It was really the engineering and trying to get the most sound out of it. Uh, Later on, I could spend a little more time, and I had a little more experience to bring out a little more pizzazz, perhaps. But I think if people have liked it, it's because like I used to say, design engineering makes sense, and when it makes sense, it becomes visually attractive.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, we can't take too much time today. You're going to be a regular guest on here in 2021, I think. Hopefully, a few times in person, and this is our one Skype call. Get through with these lockdowns and travel restrictions and just the overall carefulness that we need to be right now.
Well, there's one thing good with the sacrifice we're all making now is that there's going to be rewards at the end of this. So I'm
Excellent.
looking seeing everybody again, and good luck everybody, and stay safe, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
Thanks, Louie. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you.
And there you go, everyone. That was Louis Desjardins at Kronos Audio. Well, thank you for joining in today. Please subscribe, like, share, comment below, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.